At 12 years old, he was getting mauled in the ring by grown men, choking on his own blood through his mouthpiece. By 20, he was a professional hitman with an 8-0 record and 7 brutal KOs.
Oh, upstairs and dropped them!
When he steps through those ropes, bringing the exact same suffocating pressure as the boogeyman, Gennady Golovkin, the whole arena is asking the same damn question. Is this kid a natural-born killer, or just a cheap Golovkin knockoff propped up by corporate hype? But he's not Golovkin. His name is Cayden Griffiths.
A lot of punishment, and it goes down, and it's over.
In an American welterweight division dominated by hardened black and Latino fighters straight out of the trenches, Griffiths' clean-cut white boy face sticks out like a sore thumb. That look guarantees him massive clout, but it also paints a giant target on his back. Thousands of eyes are glued to him, not hoping to see him win, but waiting to see him get exposed. To shut those mouths, this kid from Pennsylvania has been gambling with his life for the past 13 years. When he was 7, the kid was nothing but trouble, constantly getting into street fights. His mom, desperate to teach him a lesson, tossed him into a boxing gym. And we're not talking about some suburban cardio kickboxing class to rip off parents. This was the Diaz brothers' gym, a sweatbox filled with heavy-handed Latino journeymen who didn't know the meaning of pulling punches. A white kid was the last thing they wanted around. At 11, Griffiths pointed at the gym's TV and swore he was going to copy every single move of Gennady Golovkin. The old heads just smirked. Some green American white kid claiming he's going to rule the ring like the Kazakh boogeyman? But he was dead serious. Nobody told him that Golovkin's stance was built on a completely different height and reach. He treated his own body like a lab rat, forcing the boogeyman's shadow into his own frame. At 12, his coaches threw him into the ring to serve as a human crash test dummy for grown professionals. Taking 16-ounce gloves straight to the bridge of the nose, feeling the cartilage crunch and the pain shoot straight to his brain, he just swallowed the taste of iron and bit down on his mouthpiece. Marching forward. Every night in the shower, as the hot water hit his bruised ribs, his hand would literally spasm just holding a bar of soap. But he never quit. He learned how to survive on the inside the hard way by taking beatings from grown men. That suicidal training regimen paid off. When he turned pro, his power was on a completely different stratosphere. In his pro debut against a Mexican tough guy named Romero, Griffiths was as ice cold as a 30-fight veteran. Late in the first round, he dipped his shoulder and dug a left hook straight into Romero's liver like a prison shank. The Mexican dropped to one knee instantly, his face contorted in pure agony.
Good shot, Boyd. He gets a counter in.
Round 2. Exact same setup, exact same liver shot. Romero was completely done.
But that leaves the head open.
Oh, there it is.
From that night on, the whole circuit knew. Trapped inside this kid's pretty boy exterior was an absolute buzzsaw. After that, Gutierrez, Ramirez, one hardened veteran after another crumbled under his hellish bodywork. In July 2025, fighting Ramirez, Griffiths exploded in the mid-range with a devastating shot out of nowhere, dropping his opponent so hard he literally spat blood on the canvas. The arena went dead silent. Griffiths didn't jump on the ropes to celebrate. He just turned around with a deadpan stare and walked back to his neutral corner, cold as a lumberjack clocking out after a shift. In that moment, the crowd realized, for this machine, destroying an opponent isn't about glory. It's just inevitable, physical destruction. During this tear, he finally got the opportunity of a lifetime walking into the training camp of the former middleweight kingpin, Gennady Golovkin, as a sparring partner. For over a decade, he had studied his idol through a screen. But standing right there on the ring apron, hearing the sickening, bone-rattling thud of Golovkin hitting the heavy bag, he finally understood the gap between him and world class. He locked eyes with Golovkin during sparring, and saw no youthful anger, no desperate need to prove anything, just the cold, dead stare of a predator watching its prey slowly suffocate. Between rounds, Golovkin patted the white kid on the shoulder. No long speeches. He just showed him how to instantly cut off the ring while staying completely relaxed. That camp changed everything. His newly refined killer instinct soon attracted the sharks in the deep waters. In June 2023, while still in high school, he got a DM. The sender claimed to be Oscar de la Hoya. At first, Griffiths thought it was a prank. It wasn't until March 2025 when Golden Boy Promotions officially posted his picture on their timeline that it finally hit him. He had just been drafted by corporate America. Golden Boy knows exactly how to print money in the US market. A handsome, white fighter with one-punch knockout power? Dress him up a little, and he's a walking cash cow. You could spot their playbook from a mile away. Feed him a bunch of tomato cans with scary records but glass chins. Build up a flashy 10-fight win streak and cash out. But Griffiths was disgusted by that influencer script. He didn't want the sports cars, the gossip, or the fake hype. This junkyard dog, raised under the fists of grown men, was only interested in genuine bloodbaths. To prove to the suits he wasn't some fragile piece of merchandise, he explicitly rejected the company's safe bets and demanded a real dogfight. That dogfight was a 35-year-old Nicaraguan veteran named Phenom, and this was the fight that nearly shattered his Phenom status into a million pieces. Going in, everyone thought it was just another easy highlight reel KO. But as soon as the bell rang, Griffiths looked completely out of sorts, even getting backed up by heavy shots. The boos started raining down. See? He's just a manufactured hype job. Griffiths dragged himself to a hard-fought decision win. But as he left the ring, his face was pale as a ghost. It wasn't until the post-fight medical report leaked that people realized how brutal that war actually was. He had stepped into the ring battling a severe infection and a high fever. Worse than that, midway through the fight, his left metacarpal completely snapped. He fought half the match one-handed, enduring the excruciating pain of jagged bone splinters grinding into his own flesh. When he was gasping for air in the locker room, letting his trainer cut off the bloody wraps with scissors, his hand was swollen purple like a block of dough. In the darkest rounds of that fight, only one thought flashed through his mind. If Golovkin was standing here right now, how would he handle this? That broken hand war woke him up. When he returned from injury, he was no longer a machine just winging power shots. He had evolved into a painfully patient sniper. In March 2026, against an 18-fight veteran named Cruciato, Griffiths didn't force the action. Working like a surgeon, he broke him down behind a stiff jab. Finally, in round 3, 2 sickening hooks ripped right through the defense on both sides of Cruciato's ribs. The ref waved it off at 2:49.
Big Uzbeks and the body work.
Now, Cayden Griffiths stands dead center in the eye of the welterweight storm. That clean white face that people once mocked as a marketing gimmick is now splattered with the blood of his opponents. He never hides his killer intent. But the cruel reality of pro boxing is that the higher you climb, the thinner the air gets. He can easily shred the guys in front of him, but corporate patience is never infinite. When the day comes that Golden Boy completely strips away the safety net, when he has to step alone into the real slaughterhouse where men kill to feed their families, only then will we find out if this white heavy hitter can walk out alive, or if he'll just become another pretty corpse tossed aside after the suits have squeezed every last drop of clout out of him.